going on, guys? It's Cam with Hawks Nest Gaming coming at you with a live locals first place deck profile featuring Logan Miller. Logan, what we play tonight, buddy?
Today was Drytron. Brought this. We saw a lot of success. This archetype in general has been succeeding. Even at the highest level, we saw 3 out of 8 in the top YCS places. So if you think this deck is dead, maybe look again.
Think again. All right, let's jump into the deck profile.
All right.
Intro.
Sure. Okay, we got 1 miniature Drytron. This is standard. Nothing about that has changed with that.
Cool. One of those guys.
Yeah, so we play one of the ritual spells.
Is that a CR?
Yeah.
Oh, flex in. All right,
we
here
try our
we
best.
go.
We try
Here
our
we go.
best. So 3 alpha,
Right.
3 zeta, 3 gamma, and 2 delta.
That's pretty golden ratio right
Yeah,
there.
this has been standard for a while. The 3 gamma is probably the most notable exception. People play 2 gamma. I think that's wrong. You want to see as many names as you can.
All right, so I like that. I agree with that, man. More names means more consistency.
Yeah, it's a 2-card combo deck. If you see 2 cards, you're doing it. One of such cards, 3 of Diviner. People have been playing the Maju card to mix the Tornado Dragon.
Yep.
I'm not personally a fan. I think Dragoon in this list is just slightly worse than Scythe locking your opponent. So we play 3 of the Diviner. You want to see it every hand.
That's fantastic.
Last Fairy, we're playing Orange Light. People have been cutting this now that you're not playing Ava, but I find that you search enough to the point where you have 2 of the fairies in hand. Orange Light will stop Nibiru every single time. People are putting it in the main deck, so you want the out in the main deck as well.
Well, it's fantastic. You can search it off one of your, yeah, exactly. You can get it in your hand and then you have a free go button. Just go.
It also helps play against Dark Rule or Droplet, stuff like that, because you have the interruption in hand. It's very useful. For searchers, we're playing 1 of the field spell, 3 of the Nova, and 3 of the emergency. This exact ratio is good.
So we're doing 3 Nova. I've seen a lot of lists play 2. Is that right? Have I seen that, I think? And
yeah.
more of the Fafnir. I like that, though. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, this ratio, I've stuck with it for a while. It seems to have a lot of success. I've seen people play just 2 of each, playing 2 of the Nova, 2 of the emergency, but again, cutting protectively.
I like my consistency, though, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that this is a build that I've kind of chosen to max consistency, playing a lot less bricks. You'll see that in a moment, but yeah, I wanted to make sure that I saw 2 names, and I mean, it worked out, right?
Heck yeah.
For ritual monsters, we're playing the 3, Cyber Angel cards. These are pretty standard. Natasha's one example of a tech card.
This card is nuts, ladies and gentlemen. This card wins games.
I'm not joking. This came up probably every match.
If you don't know what Natasha does.
Yeah, so it basically allows you to steal your opponent's cards from the graveyard. You can't imperm it, and it's not once per turn.
That's ladies and gentlemen, that's a snatch steal right there. That's what that is.
Yeah, if you guys like banned cards, play this deck because Snatch Steal is
it's live.
A pretty hefty one, and obviously this is a block dragon for fairies.
God almighty.
Wild. Yeah, you resolve this like 3 times a turn. So if you see this card in your opening hand, you are off to the races.
In a bad hand, you resolve that twice.
Yeah, seriously, it is beyond reasoning. We decided to play the Megalith package today, 2 full, 1 Ophiel, 1 Bathor.
Just like we talked about earlier.
This stuff is good. It does kind of have that consistency hit that we're talking about, but it adds so much in terms of power. The top 6 that you can potentially get off of Bathor, plus adding vents into the hand, it's no jokes, guys. This is just a real build.
You get to go first against, say, Elvis, right? Full at the end of the turn, in the main phase, boom, blow up back row, and have a good day.
Yeah, you already got it. Like, this against back row decks, exceptional. These cards in general, even against like skill drain and stuff, it has really strong inboards. Yeah, you'll find
Let's go.
You'll find that this engine is worth playing the bricks.
That's wonderful. Well done, Logan. Well done.
For going second cards, we're playing 1 Called By, 2 Talents, 3 Dark Ruler, and 2 Droplet. So this consistency is a little strange, but I think that in terms of actually breaking boards, you want at least 2 Droplet, you want at least 2 Talents. Talents way overperformed this time around. I would say I resolved it maybe 6 times, and just its ability to draw 2, look in your opponent's hand, steal a card, everything about this card is great.
Going first, going second, doesn't matter. You bait out that monster negate and you get to go for free.
Yeah.
And this card, look, at the end of the day, all you need to do is break boards and establish your own, and it's GG, bro.
Right. The original Drytron cards are great at breaking boards, so stuff like this, you don't need hand traps. You just don't. You need board breakers. So even if you get Scythe locked, you get Dark Ruler, you get Scythe locked, it doesn't matter because you have a crazy backup engine in the Bathor and like the Natasha, and if you're playing Draconids, that card will come up. So yeah, getting Scythe locked in this deck, not a problem. I highly recommend that you guys try it if you hate Scythe.
Yeah. Definitely best combo deck of the format, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan of it. Speaking of Scythe, we're playing 1 because it's a light berry, you search it, and of course to complement it, we're playing the DPE package. Nothing quite like it. I'll say that you guys are, if you're new to Drytron, you're not sure why we're playing Plasma, it's important to note that Dasher will literally never come up because you never want to special summon a monster that can be normal or special.
Nope.
So that's very important. Plasma, it can't be special summoned, so if your opponent, like DD Crows, your DPE after its effect is resolved, you can't special summon this. You can special summon Celestial, of course. Something to be careful of. But Plasma, much better than Dasher in this deck, and a lot cheaper too. So
also true. Also true.
Yeah, we don't mind that at all. So for the extra deck, we're playing some pretty standard stuff. One thing I don't see people playing enough: Relinquished Anima. Guys, this card says steal your opponent's monsters, equip it. This card attacks so much stuff, and people aren't playing around it right now because no one's playing it.
Dude, nobody thinks about it. Zone presence matters, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, guys, like Link Karibo, cool card, helps you play around some interruption. But this card, it helps break boards in general. Like Nova, summon this out, free stuff. You get a free interruption out of it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, this card's great. For the Link 2s, we're playing 1 Dagda, 1 IP Masquerena, and 1 Verte.
Right.
This is pretty standard, you know. I've seen some people cut Dagda because you can just search Scythe, no need to have this, but this helps you play around Droll, it helps you play around, you know, other, like if your Benton gets banished or something like that.
Right.
So you'll find this card more often than not is worth its space. IP Masquerena for when you're like really popping off, and Verte is Verte, no need to explain.
Exactly. Verte and IP in order to make other big old plays later.
Yeah. We're playing Boral Sword instead of Access Code because, you know, like, as much as people love to claim Access best like OTK card, 3,000 plus 3,000 plus 2,000 is 8,000. So hard to beat that math.
Yep.
Our IP target is Appaloosa. We don't have the space for Unicorn, so we play this instead. It's, you know, even if it's not a spin, it's 3 negates on your opponent's turn. Who's going to complain? It's very easy to make as well. So
and even if your board gets stopped a couple of times, you can still in on an Oppo for 3.
Right,
I mean, pretty easy.
If you can do this, your opponent's not playing, you know, for the most part.
It's very difficult.
Very, very tough. I like these cards.
And I agree with you on Boral Sword. So there's not a ton of decks, like, you're not going to be going through a lot of links. So you're not going to have 4 different types of links in your, you know,
A lot of our links are dark.
Exactly. So you're not going to have a lot of access code targets anyway. So this is a good game ender for you.
Yeah,
I like that.
fan.
I like that.
For Diviner targets, we're playing 1 Intis, 1 Arclight. This is standard as well. Intis comes up very often when baking boards, and Arclight is obviously your best sender, adds anything in the deck.
That's so good.
Hard to beat this card. You only play 1 for space, but you never need the second, I promise.
Resolve it once, just roll.
Last Synchro, we're playing Baron. You make this with Diviner as a 6, and you make it with Ophiel, so this is just another interruption. This card's not super necessary if you want to budget the deck a little, but I would highly recommend it if you can.
But it's so free.
Yeah, if you got it, play it. Why not? Like this card in general has performed very well because it enables your Scythe block. It's hard to beat it. You know, Vathor, it can help interrupt. So this card is a really nice finishing touch to the deck.
So for those of y'all who don't realize how you're getting into Baron for the math not to work, so Herald's a 2, it's gonna gain, your Diviner's a 2, it's gonna gain the 4 off of this when you send it to make it a 6, and then you're gonna go into your Baron with that.
Yeah, so the 6 plus Ophiel being the Megalith 4.
Megalith 4.
There you go, that's 10, and 10 is the magic number.
That's it, that's where you need.
For Xyz monsters, we're naturally playing the 2 Fafnir. Card's just nuts.
Go into it every time.
How this card was ever printed for Drytrons, they were right when they thought that this card was deserving of the secret rare spot. It is crazy. I'm a big fan, you know, everyone that I know is playing 2 of this card just because it enables you to play as much as you want.
Exactly.
Go into this every game that you get. We're playing the Downward Zeus package. This came in handy quite a couple times actually. I've seen a lot of people cut the Downer just because, you know, Zeus for send 1 is nice, but the extra send, you know, as an interruption, it can come up a lot. All you need to do is survive until your next turn happens, and then you're playing Drytron, right?
Pop back off.
Yeah, so you're never worried. This is nice. Final card in the extra deck, we're playing Beatrice. This card was recently cut. You know, you can't send Ava anymore. Sad about that, but what we're not sad about is the 1 Drytron hands. You need this every single time for Zeta Ben 10. Every single time. You can't do a decent line without this card in 1 Drytron name hands. If you don't play this card, I recommend testing with it because you'll find that like when you open Zeta Diviner or Zeta Ben 10 or Alpha Ben 10, any of these combinations, this card will come up.
I can see it. I can see it.
So, you know, it sends another Drytron name, even if you're not using it, it's good.
Fantastic. What were we sideboarding tonight?
Alright, so our sideboard, 3 Nibiru.
Give him the rock.
Yeah, no need to main deck this card in this deck specifically, just because you're not playing like a second hand trap to go with it. Nibiru is the card that you want to see with another hand trap, so that's why we play this in the side. Obviously good this format. 3 Lancia.
Because everything that banishes, yep.
I mean, this deck has a really hard time against 2 decks specifically, Tri-Brigade and Flunder. This card outs both decks. You know, it helps play against the Brave Engine, it helps play against like the PKs that Scythe lock it. You're not worried about a lot of matchups. This card's great. It's nice that you can search it, so maybe you don't always go into the 3rd Lancia. I've occasionally sided in just 2. But against the matchups like Flunder, where I really need it going first, this
You want to see it.
this is the card you want to see. This is the turn ender for most decks. So for back row removal, we're playing 5 cards. 3 Twisters, 1 Reboot, 1 Duster.
Perfect.
Twister's obviously a very good option in this deck because you can send a Drytron name and it's free. So it says pop 2 for no cost, basically.
Exactly.
You're loving to see it. This is really great against the flood decks that kill you. Summon limit kills you. Tikaboo can occasionally be pretty problematic, especially if you can't get your fairy engine online. So seeing these cards is paramount to beating against Eldritch guys. You know, if you see your opponent flips Skill Drain, you're not too sad, but you want it off the field either way. So we're playing 5 cards like this. You could replace these with Evenly. I've been experimenting with a lot of that in Lightning Storm. Both those cards are pretty good in the matchup. So just try that out. We're playing 1 Draconids in the side, so this card I find in the main deck to be a little bricky, and so siding it helps play against Troll specifically. And you know, if your opponent's like specifically summoning a lot of monsters, like in the PK matchup or the Prank Kids matchup, this card will come up. So I don't like taking it out of the deck completely. I like putting it in the sideboard just in case, because it is one of those just in case cards.
And then also this is a good help with Scythe too, guys. I mean, look at that big old 4K body.
Yeah, and Skill Drain too. Like how is Eldritch ever outing this card with 4K attack? Right? They can't. So summon this, they win nothing. Get out.
That's it.
For the last 3 cards, we're playing some Spice. We're playing a Pointer or the Red Lotus. This is my favorite card in the list.
So I love siding this when I know I'm going to go first.
Yeah,
And,
guys,
boy.
this is the best going first card for Drytron if you're playing like stuff like this. Like Judgment falls in comparison because you play so much life. Stuff that would stop Droplet. This is the Droplet ender. So,
Dude, what I love about this card is this lets you pick and choose what you get to take out. It's
Right.
just fantastic. You've spent your wad. You've got a few cards in hand. Who cares what they see? It doesn't matter. It's just fantastic.
yeah, if you activate this in the draw phase while your DP is in the graveyard, they're like, oh, I want to Droplet your Scythe. Well, you can't because it's not in your hand anymore. You don't have the opportunity because it's not standby phase yet.
Exactly.
This is the Droplet ender. I highly recommend you guys experiment with this because it just does everything for a deck. It lets you know what you have to interrupt, because our interruptions are pretty specific, right? The Bathor pop, our Orange Light. So it can be pretty tricky to know what to interrupt and where. That solves that problem immediately. Very good card.
Gives you all the timing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. How many cards in the main?
42.
42 cards. That's what I run on most of mine. I don't know why 42 always ends up
It's the
coming
magic
up.
number. It's the magic number.
It just works. Well,
that's
Logan,
not-
buddy, hey, 4-0 tonight.
Yes, sir.
Heck of a time, dude. You've been topping a pretty good bit lately, anyway.
Yeah.
But
That's good.
this is fantastic. You want to give any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to my boy Joey. Me and him had a great time in the finals. We're best buds, and he's on the Tri-Bird stuff still. So, and shout out to the DB Grinder. A lot of my content, or a lot of like my deck list choices, come from him.
Nice.
So, shout out to those 2 guys. Then, thanks for having me.
All right, Logan. Well, guys, this is Cam with Hawks Nest Gaming saying y'all have a good night and be safe.
Peace, guys.
Bye, guys.